I want to hold on to this moment and see how long it actually lasts.
That's what she said.
What's going on, beer lovers? Welcome to another episode. I'm Jeff.
I'm Justin.
And today we are in San Francisco, California at our first stop for our beer tour.
Now, we are in my favorite neighborhood in San Francisco, Bernal Heights, checking out Bare Bottle Brewing. These people opened in 2016, and from what we've heard, have some of the best beers in the city. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Jeff, you ready?
Let's have some beer.
Let's have some beer. So my history lesson for today about Bare Bottle Brewing tells you about their history. They started in 2016. It was three friends that co-founded the business, and they all started in business school in Cornell, but they all found a love of home brewing, which is why this place was built. This is a testament to the home brewer. Pretty much they do competitions where home brewers get to challenge themselves, do a specific variety, and the winner gets put on tap here at the brewery for the month. It's really cool stuff, really cutting edge stuff, and this place is an amazing place where you want to hang out. So they have cornhole, they have shuffleboard, they have card games, board games, and not to mention some pretty good food and a whole lot of beer, which we're gonna try right now.
All right, guys, so my first beer up is the California Cologne. This is a 4.5% Kolsch. It's 15 IBUs, and this has been inspired by the German Kolsches in Cologne, Germany. I'm ready to start light. I love German style beers. I'm really interested to see what they do with this. Cheers. All right, so this is your pretty standard Kolsch. It's light, it's crisp, it's misty, like effervescent a little bit. It's got a nice sharp finish to it, like it leaves your palate almost immediately. But I would say if you're a fan of light beers, this is really a solid go-to. The malts are nothing special. There's no special aromas. It is a Kolsch through and through, but it's a very well done Kolsch.
All right, guys, first up is the Honey Boo Boo. It is a low gluten sparkling honey ale at 5.6%. So low gluten for all you people with celiac disease or a little bit of a gluten intolerance, this is probably the beer for you. I haven't seen a low gluten beer, so I can't wait to try this in a craft brewery. Cheers. Okay, so they say in their description that they use orange blossom and coriander honey, over 700 pounds worth for this beer, and it smells and it tastes just like honey, but it's not overtly sweet. You just get a really good honey flavor, and it's just like sipping on a really good mead, and that's what it is. It's really, 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 really good mead. So if you're at all a fan of honey or you have a gluten deficiency, definitely pick up some of this if you come by here.
Okay, so the next beer up is called Trainemic Trainface. Now that may sound familiar. If you've ever heard about Bodie McBoatface, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, definitely Google it. It's worth your while. This is a session IPA. It's 4.1%, 35 IBUs. Now, it's got a beautiful hazy color to it. They use the Vermont style yeast that I've had in other hazy style IPAs, but I've never had it in a session before. On top of that, they use Mosaic, Belma, and Azacca hops. Now, Azacca, I don't think I've ever heard of in my entire life, so I'm really excited to figure out what comes out of this thing. I'm expecting a very light version of a Northeastern style IPA. But let's find out exactly what and how this tastes. Cheers. I don't know any other way to explain it to you other than this tastes like a hazy session IPA. It's got a wonderful fruit aroma. You get grapefruit, you get melon, you get orange, you get nice like guava, mango, all those good tropical, sweet, fruity flavors just coming right off the nose. As you dig in, the body is extremely light, which is typical of a session IPA. The finish is got a slight bitter finish to it. It doesn't last on your tongue very long, but all in all, if you're craving one of those hazy northeastern style IPAs and you don't want to have 2, but you want to have 5, this is definitely the one that you're going for. This is hazy IPA light. That is the best way I can put it.
Guys, next up I have the Scurvy Fighter. It's a pale ale, 5.4%, 34 IBUs. And scurvy, for those of you that don't know, old disease that used to kill people. That's why they had vitamin C on boats, you know, combat the scurvy. Arr. So here we go, Scurvy Fighter. Cheers. I know why they call this the Scurvy Fire, because you can taste the Citra hops. It is a good, well-rounded pale ale with Citra hops as the star. If you love Citra hops, this is probably going to be one of your favorite drinks. Trust me. Is it my favorite pale ale? Is it probably the best pale ale we've had? Who knows? But if you love Citra hops and if you love pale ales, this is definitely your favorite match. So definitely want to pick some of this up.
All right, guys, the next beer I'm super excited about. It's called Galaxy Dust. It's 6.5%, 58 IBUs. If you know me, I'm a Galaxy fan. I mean, as soon as I heard Galaxy, I was like, all right, they got my favorite hop variety. I'm down. I'm down. Now, there's a really awesome story behind this beer. Lester, the owner of Bare Bottle Brewing, actually created this recipe as a home brew back in the day before this brewery opened. On top of that, one of the best parts is this beer specifically is the very first beer that they ever released in bottles, and they just did it recently. That tells me that this is probably the star beer of this brewery, and I get to be the one to try it. Really ready to do it. So let's see how it tastes. Cheers. So good. Hold on, it's sitting on my lips. Sitting on my lips. I want to see how long it lasts.
That's what she said.
I just want to see, I want to hold on to this moment and see how long it actually lasts.
That's what she said.
Okay, guys, so here's the deal. This beer is everything I am ever looking for in an IPA. It's complex, it's full-bodied, it's flavorful, tropical, juicy, bitter. It's everything that I've ever been looking for in an IPA. And the best part is that it stays with you. It stays with you the whole time. What I'm getting out of this is that grapefruit, pineapple, stone fruit, all the good things out of the Galaxy hop variety. This comes off to me as a softer version of a Northeastern style IPA. It's not overdone, it's not that over creamy mouthfeel. It's actually more reserved, but in just the right ways. It's taking the best parts of a hazy IPA and making it its own. I can't rave about this beer enough. I definitely want a full pint of it. So as soon as we're done reviewing these, I know what I'm reaching for. I mean, I still got beers to try, but I'm pretty certain this is what I'm going for.
All right, guys, next up, the Fog Juice. The Fog Juice is 8.2%, a double IPA, and still 45 IBUs, so not a lot of bitterness there, but this is their testament to the fog of San Francisco, which, if you've ever visited here, you know fog is pretty much interlaced with the city. That's one of the things they're known for, beyond the Giants and the Golden Gate Bridge. So let's find out how tasty and delicious this thing is, guys. Cheers. So you get a lot of good citrusy notes off the aroma and the body. It's not overly heavy. It's not like you're expecting a big weighty double IPA. It's a little bit lighter than that, but you do get that hop flavor, you get that bitterness, you get that drying effect on your tongue, and it is probably a very, very drinkable double IPA in my opinion. Is it one of the best? If you're looking for body, you're not gonna find it in this beer. However, you're getting good hop flavors, good hop aroma, good citrusy aromas, and it leads to a very, very solid drink.
The next beer up for me is Espresso Macchiato on Nitro. This is 5.3%, 28 IBUs, and Paramo's Stargazer Coffee, which is a local distributor here, actually infused their coffee in here. So I love milk stouts, I love coffee, I'm super excited to try it, and it's on Nitro added plus. Cheers. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you right now, Justin is gonna wanna steal this one from me. I'm calling it, I'm calling it, I'm calling it. The coffee's there, it's definitely there. It's not, well, I would say it's not overpowering, but it is definitely predominant. You know it's there. But here's the thing, looking at this beer and reading the description that they have up by their bar, it does not say anything about the spiciness to it. Not spicy as in pepper, but spice as in like cinnamon, almost. It's got like this oatmeal raisin cookie kind of deal going on with it. I'm not sure what it is, but then on top of that, it's super sweet, super creamy, super freaking delicious. I don't know, crap. This is a really good beer. I don't know what to do with myself because now I'm between my traditional IPAs that I love and this thing. This is a solid coffee milk stout.
All right, guys, I have here the Muir Woods IPA. It's an American IPA, 6.2%. It's named after Muir Woods, which is a very famous forested area here in the Bay Area. Beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go into San Francisco, make sure you check out Muir Woods if you're a forest or a nature fan. It is fantastic. And this is supposed to be an ode to Muir Woods. So I'm expecting a lot of pine, a lot of foresty flavors, and I hope it doesn't disappoint. Cheers. So another note about this, it's one of their homebrew winners. So this is someone's homebrew that they ended up putting on the tap here. And you can see why it won the award, why it won the month. It's complex and it has a lot of pine notes to it. It's like walking through a forest having a nice IPA. That's what I'm getting with this beer, and it's fantastic. We've had so many IPAs where it's citrusy and danky. You don't get a lot of piney IPAs, and this is exactly what it is, and it's a nice, refreshing change of pace, and I'm loving it. A little bit of spice on the back end, but piney, spicy, refreshing, complex. This is definitely one of my favorites.
The next beer up for me is going to be Half Samurai. This is 5.3% and only 8 IBUs. Really interesting story behind this beer. This is a sake wheat ale. It was brewed in collaboration with Sequoia Sake in Bayview. This beer was brewed entirely with fresh koji rice and sake yeast. This is a smash up of something I've never heard of happening before, something that I never thought would even turn into a beer before. It sounds extremely unique. I'm a little excited and a little scared at the same time, but the only way to know for sure is to try it. Cheers. Oh my God. All right, guys. So strap in, you're in for a ride. This is unlike any beer I've ever had before. At the same time, it's a familiar flavor, and I'll explain why in a second. First, I want to describe the aroma and the flavor that I'm getting out of this. The aroma itself is very light. You're getting a little bit of spiciness off of it. It reminds me a little bit of a Hoegaarden, which is more of a Belgian style wit than like a wheat style beer. But at the same time, you're also getting a little bit of sweetness off of it. I couldn't really tell what it was during the aroma. It wasn't until I dove into the flavor that I really got it. Now, during the flavor, you're getting a solid wheat ale. You're getting that clovey spice, you're getting pear, you're getting apple, you're definitely getting that nice, typical, like, almost like a Belgian style wheat ale. But here's the trick, and this is why that sake kicks in, and this is why it's so important. Have you ever had a sake bomb before? Justin and I love going to sushi places and doing sake bombs. It's sake and it's beer. Well, here's the thing. That's kind of what this tastes like, but I've never done it with a wheat beer before. It turns into a familiar flavor. It is almost like a sake bomb with a wheat beer. You can't commend a brewery enough when they think outside the box and they actually create something that is tasty and enjoyable.
All right, guys, I have their Oolong Saison, 5.8%. It's a take on their normal Saison, which is called the Bernal Saison. I wonder why I picked this one. But otherwise, I love tea, and a tea Saison just sounds amazing to me. And Oolong, those great tea flavors. I can't wait to try this, guys. Cheers. Okay, the aroma on this thing is interesting. It's peachy, it's peppery, maybe even a little bubblegum. I think there's bubblegum, maybe? But it tastes just refreshing. It's a crisp, clean Saison. It's not overly funky, but it's still a Saison at heart. You get those good wild yeasts, and it's very, very refreshing. And at 5.8%, I could drink this all day, and I want to drink it all day. I just want to get a big vat of this thing and just take it home and just sip this thing all day long. That's how much I'm liking this thing. If you're a tea fan, if you like complex flavors, this is definitely probably one of the tops here.
I'm at my final beer here at Bare Bottle Brewing, and it's called Epic Proportions. It's 6.6%, 25 IBUs, and it's got a great story behind it. It was brewed exclusively for Epic Restaurant on the Embarcadero. This beer did not use any bittering hops during the brewing process. All the hops were used during the dry hopping phase. I'm excited to try it, so let's find out how it tastes. Cheers. So I'm really surprised. This has actually got a very light body. It has a very citrusy smell. You get a little bit of the malts in the aroma as well. But once you get into the body, you're getting all the hop flavor. On top of that, it's still really bitter. I'm happy with what they created. This is a really good beer to finish out the day.
All right, guys, so last up, I have something really interesting. So Bare Bottle, every week they do a cask experiment. So every week they're trying to switch it up. And this is this week's experiment. I feel like Mystery Science Theater 3000. This is this week's experiment. It's the habanero and cucumber ghost. So cucumber I love. Habanero is just one of my favorite flavors. That's sweety, spicy kind of heat. And I can't wait to see how this beer turns out. Should be a fun experiment. Cheers. Okay, so you definitely get the cucumber. You get the taste of the habanero, but you're not getting a lot of heat. A little bit of like capsaicin, a little bit of tingle on the back of your throat. But it's a cask experiment. It's a proof of concept. And is it the most put together one that we've had here? No. But it's a very, very solid experiment. And if this is what they're turning out as far as an experiment goes, I can see why they're doing so well as far as the regular beers go. It is delicious. It's a good start. And I can't wait to see what they'll do with this when they continue to refine it and bring it along. But so far, a solid start.
All right, Justin, we've tried a lot of good beers here today at Bare Bottle Brewing. Now the real question is which ones were our favorites? So I'll go ahead and start off with you.
The appropriate question would be, what beers weren't our favorites? There were so many good beers here at Bare Bottle, and that it's just hard to go through them and find my favorite. Could I go with the Oolong Saison? Absolutely. It was delicious. Could I pick that Galaxy Dust that Jeff had? Absolutely. It was amazing. But I kind of have to go with the one that I started off with. And Adala don't make me holler, honey boo boo child. This does.
Yes.
Let's just say, let me just spell everything out for you. It's low gluten, which you don't see in a lot of beers. You're getting all this great vibrant flavor, vibrant aroma, all that good honey flavor that you don't see anywhere else. They use 700 pounds of honey to make this damn beer, and that's a lot of honey. Bees are going away. That shit ain't cheap. That stuff ain't cheap. All that being said, this is probably the hands down best mead I've ever tasted. And if you look at our Twitter feed, I was at the Renaissance Fair. There was a lot of mead there. This is one of the best beers I've ever had, honey or not. And it's amazing that they got that much flavor and that much aroma out of this beer. And it's simply fantastic. I can't rave enough about it. Jeff, shut me up. What did you pick? Let me guess.
No, you don't get to say anything. I'll tell you guys what I picked. So first I'm going to give a few quick honorable mentions. Half Samurai, awesome. Super unique. Never tried anything like it before. Totally delicious. Well pulled off experimental style beer. The Trainemic Train Face. I'm loving those hazy style IPAs. This is a new light hazy style IPA. I really enjoyed it. I think that is a solid beer as well. Now the real question is what did I pick as my favorite beer?
Yeah.
You're probably thinking Galaxy Dust. It's not Galaxy Dust.
What?
Galaxy Dust was definitely a close second. You might be a little surprised at what I picked.
What did you pick?
I picked Espresso Macchiato on Nitro. Now you may be wondering, Jeff, you're an IPA guy. Why are you picking this stout when it's completely out of your normal wheelhouse? Now the reason why I chose the Espresso Macchiato over the Galaxy Dust is this right here. I love Galaxy hops. I love IPAs. I love Northeastern style IPAs. They fused everything that I love in a beer, and they did it beautifully. And I enjoyed it. However, when I sipped on this Espresso Macchiato, my next thought was, wow, this is something that I would have never asked for, and I absolutely love it. Think on Christmas morning when you ask for that one present that you've been aching for, and you get it. You're super excited for it, don't get me wrong. But think about that one time when like a friend or a family member got you that gift that you never knew was out there, but they know you so well that they found the perfect gift. It means so much more to you. And that's what this beer is to me. This Espresso Macchiato is not something I would have ever asked for in a beer, but it's everything I've ever wanted. And that's why I picked it as my favorite. All right, guys, we had a great time trying these beers. Justin, you had a great time, right?
I didn't hate it at all.
All right, man. Well, cheers to good beer at Bare Bottle Brewing.
Cheers. So I know you guys are excited to check out this place as much as I am. And Ricky, one of the brewers, is going to give us a tour, and let's go check it out right now.
All right, guys, I'm here with Ricky. He works here at Bare Bottle Brewing. Ricky's going to give us a little bit of a tour around this brewery. Ricky, can you kind of describe the place for us a little bit?
Bare Bottle opened in June. We have been working on getting and expanding the space for about 2 years. We focus on a very homebrew-esque scale, letting people enter competitions and vie out from the people to see which one is the best sort of beer, and we let a lot of people come in and use our pilot systems to brew beers.
That's awesome. So where are we standing right now?
We're standing on the brew deck where all the magic happens.
So this is where all your guys' commercial in-store beers are brewed, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So what are we looking at here? We're a couple fermentation tanks.
Fermentation is behind us, but right here we have 4 different tanks. The first one we're going to start off with is the hot liquor tank. All of our hot liquor sits at about 170 to 190 degree Fahrenheit, and it is all steam heated. There is no fire used. We're going to need that hot liquor tank for the mash tun. All of our mash, our main mash is 2-row. It's a good basis for most beers. And the system we are working on is a 20-barrel system. We're able to pull the mash through our graining system, through the pipes up and into the funnel. Best name for it I have right now. And that's where the first step of creating beer is, but at this point it is called wort. From there, we're going to bring it over to the boiling kettle. In the boiling kettle, we're going to boil down all this wort to get all the sugars and the starches that we can. This is also the first addition of hops. These are known as bittering hops and give you the piney, resiny flavors you get out of a good IPA. From there, we're going to send it to the whirlpool. All of this a 20-barrel system. Send it to the whirlpool as the first filtration process to remove a lot of the a lot of the grains and the hops we just used, and add aromatic hops. Whirlpool.
You do flavoring and aromatic out of here?
Yes.
Awesome.
Do flavoring and aromatic out of the whirlpool. Probably my favorite part of an IPA is the
Yes.
whirlpool.
Agreed.
Next step, we're working on 6 40-barrel fermenters. So at any given time, these could all be full, some of them could be full, but normally with our bigger beers like Galaxy Dust and Muir Woods, we'll make a double batch to make it completely full. Something smaller like our Honey Boo Boo, we'll probably do a 1 batch and sit it on a 20-barrel fermenter.
I'm curious, how do you do dry hopping in fermentation tanks like this? Where do you put them?
At the top.
Do you drop them in from the very top?
From the very top, you can even see at the top of that one, there's a bucket that we probably use to pour the dry hops into it.
Nice. So what, you just stick a ladder up there basically? And,
Yep.
Wow. So if you're afraid of heights, don't work at a brewery.
Pretty much.
So it looks like you guys are brewing something right here. What do we got going?
Typically I wouldn't know since I don't normally work in the back. I just know way too much about it. But as you can see, other than what we're brewing, the CO2 and yeast are active. Kind of looks like bread rising.
Where's Galaxy?
Galaxy. We're brewing Galaxy
nice.
Dust in this one.
Galaxy Dust.
Our first bottled beer that we've done. Released it last Friday.
That's awesome. It's a way different look from like an at-home airlock.
Oh yeah.
For sure. This is intense on a whole nother level.
Our pilot system is going to be...
Oh man, this looks like a doctor's laboratory. You see this? Is that it right there? Straight ahead?
Yeah, that's it. Pilot system covered. So our pilot system, this is what we use to brew test batches of beer. It's a 10-gallon system. And at any time given a certain day, you'll find 1 or 2 of these on drafts at our brewery.
That's awesome. So how do you guys choose what stays and what goes?
Just depends on how it tastes, really.
Just demand and
Supply,
what you guys
demand,
think.
what people are asking for new flavors of. We just had a Russian Imperial Stout on that we've been wanting to test and take that did killer. And when they do as good as something like that, there's talks of actually brewing it on the 20-barrel system.
Wow. So could you imagine being a home brewer, coming here, testing out your beer, and people love it? You could be brewing on one of those giant tanks months later. That is really exciting.
These are our bright tanks. This is the last step the beer goes through before it is either bottled or kegged. So what we're going to do, since we are a production brewery, is we're going to force carbonate the beer to make sure it's at the right level of carbonation, since you did see all the carbonation coming out of the actual fermenter. And as soon as it's up to the level that we want, we'll put the pigtail on and test it out and start kegging from there. where all of the kegs will live before we distribute them out, and we are self-distribute. We distribute everything on our own, and this is also where all of our hops live. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, you guys got a nice solid walk-in with a lot of kegs. So how many kegs do you guys normally move in, like, let's say a month?
Right now we're working on just about 300 accounts from Chico to Santa Cruz. So from a month we can move anywhere between 200 to 1,000 depending on the demand of beer.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, Ricky, that was an awesome tour. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. We love your brewery, we love your beers. So we can't wait to come back. And if you guys get a chance, you got to come to Bare Bottle Brewing. You're going to love it here.
Glad to have you back.
Cheers. All right, guys, that's going to do it here at Bare Bottle Brewing. We had an awesome time.
Yeah, it was the best. And a special thank you to Mark, Miller, Ricky, and Iris. You guys made us feel like family. And a special shout out to Vincent Johnson.
We didn't forget you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Let's Have Some Beer.